Hello everyone. In this presentation, we'll be diving into the project work performance domain. I'm Daniel, and I'll be guiding you through this important yet tricky area of project management, especially when it comes to the PMP exam. Before we start, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm a university lecturer and a certified project management professional. I earned my PMP certification almost 2 years ago, in 2023. During my own preparation journey, I came across several concepts that were challenging to understand or memorize on the first go. And that experience encouraged me to start creating videos and lectures like this to help you better understand the areas that can feel complex or overwhelming. Let's start with the definition. The project work performance domain is defined by the activities and functions associated with three important areas: establishing project processes, managing physical resources, and fostering a learning environment. The main goal of this domain is to ensure that we are establishing and performing the work necessary to enable the project team, like team members, to deliver the expected deliverables and outcomes. So again, I'm going to recap this: establishing project processes, managing physical resources, and fostering learning environment. We'll get back to it in more detail later on. When we execute this domain effectively, we should see several desired outcomes, which include efficient and effective project performance, ensuring that project processes are customized and appropriate for the specific project and its environment, appropriate communication with all stakeholders, efficient management of physical resources, effective management of procurements, and finally, we want to see improved team capability because the team is continuously learning and improving processes. To achieve these outcomes, we must focus on a set of key activities designed to keep the project activities running smoothly, which will be covered in the next slide. These key activities ensure the continuous movement of the project. They include functions like managing the flow of existing work, new work, and changes to work. It's also important to keep the project team focused and to establish efficient project systems and processes. We must continually communicate with all stakeholders. A major part of the work is managing material, equipment, supplies, and logistics. We also work closely with contracting professionals and vendors to plan and manage procurements and contracts. And always we need to be enabling project learning and knowledge transfer. Now let's talk about process management, which is a very important part of any project work. The project manager and the team must first establish the processes. Then they need to periodically review the processes that the team uses to conduct the work. This regular review process is essential because these reviews help to identify bottlenecks or any impediments that might block progress. We also utilize process tailoring. Tailoring means optimizing the process particularly for the needs of the current project. We have general guidelines for tailoring, which are often based on complexity or criticality of the project. For example, large projects typically have more process than small projects, and critical projects typically have more process than less significant projects. Finally, we have the compliance check. Our processes mustn't only be efficient and effective, but they must also comply with critical requirements, including quality requirements, regulations, standards, and organizational policies. Last but not least, we can evaluate process health through methods like process audits and quality assurance. But the question is how we actually optimize these processes. One significant approach involves lean production methods. Lean methods use techniques like value stream mapping. This is used to measure the ratio of activities that actually add value versus those that are non-value adding. These metrics help us identify and remove waste from the production systems. A simple example of waste or non-value added work might be the time team members spend categorizing and recording their work in specific categories on timesheets only for the purpose of PMO tracking. Another method for optimization is the use of retrospectives or lessons learned meetings. These gatherings give the project team a structured opportunity to review the way in which they work and suggest specific changes to improve process and efficiency. We also optimize by focusing on optimizing value delivery. This involves the team asking an important question: where is the best funding spent? By answering this question, the team can determine whether they should continue the current task or pivot to the next activity to optimize value delivery to the stakeholders. Alright, now let's talk about competing constraints. Project work is not free from constraints. It's always constrained. These constraints can take many forms, such as a fixed delivery date, adherence to regulatory codes, a predetermined budget, quality policies, and considerations of the triple bottom line. Let me just add a little bit about the triple bottom line. It is a framework that says organizations should focus on three elements: people, profit, and environment. Anyways, these constraints are not static. They may shift and change throughout the project. For example, a new stakeholder requirement could necessitate expanding the schedule and budget. Balancing these shifting constraints while maintaining stakeholder satisfaction is an intensive ongoing activity throughout the project. And this often requires meeting with the customer, sponsor, or product owner to present alternatives or making trade-offs within the project team's authority. Part of the project manager's role in this domain is assessing and balancing the project team's focus and attention. This leadership, if I may, includes balancing the workload and evaluating if team members are satisfied. Speaking of team members, we aim for what we call the healthy balance. According to the healthy balance concept, team attention must be split appropriately between focusing on production, which means maximizing the value delivered, and protecting the team's production capability, which means ensuring project team health and satisfaction. On the communication front, project communications and engagement require management of both formal and informal communication, in addition to verbal and written communication. Information should be collected and distributed exactly as indicated in the project management communications plan. And here is a communications warning sign to look out for. If you start seeing an abundance of ad hoc requests for information, it may indicate that your initial communication planning wasn't sufficient to meet stakeholder needs. And this signals a necessity for further stakeholder engagement. Now let's direct our attention to physical resources and logistics. Managing physical resources, which include material, equipment, and supplies, is a comprehensive effort that requires planning, ordering, transporting, storing, tracking, and controlling these items. And this work can be very time-consuming. If you're dealing with large amounts of resources, you need an integrated logistics system. And the system should be governed by a logistics plan that describes how company policies related to resources will be implemented. The primary objectives from a physical resource perspective are focused mainly on efficiency and safety. According to the perspective, we want to reduce or eliminate the material handling and storage on site. We aim to eliminate wait times for materials. We must minimize scrap and waste. And we need to facilitate a safe work environment. Keep that in mind. All these resource work must be integrated with the master project schedule. Moving on to procurement. Procurement involves contracting for a wide range of needs, including material, capital equipment, supplies, solutions, labor, and services, all secured from third parties. It's important to remember the roles involved. In most organizations, project managers typically do not have contracting authority. Instead, they work closely with contracting officers or other professionals who possess expertise in contracts, laws, and regulations. Project managers collaborate with contracting professionals to develop necessary pre-procurement documents such as requests for proposals, RFPs, statement of work, SOWs, and the terms and conditions that will govern the work. An important contracting note is that procurement activities are not just a startup activity. They can take place at any point during the project. Now that we've discussed the pre-procurement documents, let's move into the actual bid process and examine the key documents. The bid documents are all the documents used to formally solicit information, quotations, or proposals from prospective sellers. The overall process involves developing and publicizing these bid documents, hosting bidder conferences, and ultimately selecting a bidder. One important element in the process is the bidder conference, which are meetings held with prospective sellers prior to the preparation of a bid or proposal. The goal is to ensure that all prospective vendors have a clear and common understanding of the procurement requirements. They are sometimes called contractor conferences, vendor conferences, or pre-bid conferences. We use several common documents during the bid process depending on what information we are trying to solicit. One of them is request for information, RFI. This is used early on to gather information from a set of selected vendors before sending out formal bid documents. The other is request for proposal, RFP. This document is used for complex scope where the buyer is primarily looking for the vendor to provide a solution. And the last is request for quote. This is utilized when the proposed solution is already available and clearly defined, and price is the main deciding factor. And that brings us to source selection. The process of source selection is based on several weighted criteria. These might include the vendor's experience, references, price, and delivery capabilities. These criteria must clearly reflect their relative importance to the project. It's important to note that most elements of the final agreement can be negotiated, including cost, delivery, payment dates, and ownership of intellectual property. Now let's focus on monitoring new work and changes. The approach to handling change depends on the project lifecycle. In adaptive projects like Agile, work is expected to evolve and adapt. New work can be added to the product backlog as needed, and the product owner prioritizes the product backlog on an ongoing basis. If the schedule or budget is fixed, the project may be considered done when the highest priority items are delivered. However, in predictive projects like Waterfall, the team actively manages the work to ensure only approved changes are included in the scope baseline. Any change to scope must be accompanied by appropriate changes to budget, resources, schedule, and an evaluation of any new risks. These changes are guided through a change control process managed by the project manager who works with a change requester as well as the change control board. After monitoring changes and improving them, we need to talk about knowledge management, which is an important element of continuous improvement. The project team should periodically meet using retrospectives or lessons learned meetings to determine how they can improve and challenge processes. Learning can be specific to the project, such as finding a faster way to accomplish a particular task, or it can be shared organization-wide, such as training users on a new software application. Generally, we categorize knowledge into two types, starting with explicit knowledge. This is knowledge that can be codified using symbols, such as words, numbers, or pictures. Examples of explicit knowledge include manuals, web searches, registers, and databases. The second type of knowledge is tacit knowledge. This is personal knowledge that is challenging to express as it can't be codified. It is comprised of beliefs, experience, insights, and practical knowledge or skill. Because it is difficult to formalize or codified as explicit knowledge, sharing methods for tacit knowledge often requires personal interactions such as networking, interviews, job shadowing, discussion forums, workshops, or similar methods. And finally, knowledge transfer. which is very important. By being attentive to transferring knowledge, the organization gains valuable information from the experience of running projects, and that prevents that value from being lost once the project is completed. All right, let's conclude by looking at how we check the outcomes of this performance domain. We know we have efficient and effective project performance if the status reports show that project work is efficient and effective. We know project processes are appropriate if evidence shows they have been tailored and if process audits and quality assurance confirm they are relevant and being used effectively. Appropriate communication and engagement is confirmed when planned communications are delivered and when there are few ad hoc requests or misunderstandings that might indicate ineffective engagement. We confirm efficient management of physical resources by looking at metrics like the amount of used material, scrap discarded, and the rate of rework. Effective management of procurements is verified through a procurement audit that demonstrates appropriate processes were used for the procurement and that the contractor is performing to plan. And we look for effective handling of change. In predictive projects, this means evaluating changes holistically using a change log. In adaptive projects, on the other hand, we examine the backlog, monitoring the rate of accomplishing scope versus the rate of adding new scope. And finally, improved capability due to continuous learning is confirmed if team status reports show fewer errors and rework with an increase in velocity. All right, now let's practice some practical questions on project work performance domain to consolidate our learning gains. Question 1. A project manager is implementing lean production methods. So I underline keywords. And instructing the team to use value stream mapping. The mapping identifies significant time being spent by the project team members categorizing and recording their work in a specific document so that PMO tracks the project work. How should the time spent on this PMO tracking activity be characterized? A. As a constraint associated with quality policies. B. As a non-value added activity. C. As an explicit knowledge input. And D. As protecting the team's production capability. So which one do you think could be the right answer? Well, the right answer is B, as a non-value added activity. And this is because according to PMBOK 7th edition, the time spent by team members to categorize and record their time for PMO tracking purposes can be viewed as non-value added work. So here, item B is the right answer. Question 2. A project manager is reviewing team status reports and notes that the team has achieved an extremely high rate of production for the past 3 cycles, maximizing deliverables ahead of schedule. So we have deliverables ahead of schedule, which is good. However, recent retrospective feedback highlights significant individual stress and team conflict due to the relentless pace. So we have a problem here. Significant individual stress and team conflict. Which necessary component of the healthy balance is the project manager currently failing to sufficiently protect? Focusing on production, optimizing the value delivery, protecting the team's production capability, and conducting process audits and quality assurance activities. So which one is the right answer? Well, item C is the right answer, protecting the team's production capability. Let me just mark it well. Okay. The healthy balance, according to, again, the chapter in PMBOK 7th edition, the healthy balance requires project team attention to be split between 2 areas. Focusing on production, maximizing value delivered, and protecting the team's production capability, which is about project team's health and satisfaction. So item A and item B are very close, but the concern of the question is the high stress and conflict, which indicate that the project manager is failing to protect the team's capability, which is necessary to maintain long-term production potential. So A and B could be right, but because we're concerning here the stress and team conflict, so we need to go for item C, which is team's production capability, which should be protected. So item C is the right answer. Question 3. A project manager is working with a contracting professional to secure a vendor for a scope of work that is highly technical and complex, where the buying organization lacks internal expertise and needs the vendor to propose the ultimate solution. So this is important, propose the ultimate solution. Price will be an important factor, but the suitability and complexity of the proposed solution is the primary detriment. Which documents should the team issue to solicit responses from prospective sellers in this situation? Request for information, RFI, request for quote, statement of work, SOW, or a request for proposal. So here, let me explain a little bit, and then I'll give you the right answer. Request for proposal, RFP, is used for complex or complicated scope where the buyer is looking for the vendor to provide a solution. So that's RFP, okay? A request for quote is used when the proposed solution is already available and it's already defined, but the price is the main factor. And RFI is used at earlier stages to gather general information before sending formal bid documents. So this is used when actually we've just started the bidding process. And a statement of work, SOW, is a pre-procurement document defining the work, not the solicitation method itself. So this is out, okay? And also this is out. We need to cross it out, and request for quote again. Price is important, is the primary detriment. Is an important factor, but the proposed solution is the primary detriment. So we need to go for RFP. D is the right answer, okay? A request for a proposal.
For more videos and tips like this, scan the QR code, visit cltsolutions.ca, or email us at info@cltsolutions.ca.